Now students, the last mode of nutrition in this chapter is symbiotic relationship, that is symbiosis. In this, some organisms live together and they share shelter and nutrients with each other. That is called symbiotic relationship. You might have heard some fungus or some bacteria living in the roots of other plants. They provide plants with nitrogenous compounds, that this bacteria, they fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil, and in return this roots of plants provide nutrition and shelter to this bacteria. So this is called symbiotic relationship. Two organisms, they share their shelter and nutrients with each other, and they get nutrition from each other. This is called symbiosis. The another example of this is lichens. Lichens, they are the chlorophyll containing partner, that is algae and fungi. They live with each other. Algae undergoes the process of photosynthesis and produce starch. They provide nutrition to fungus through this photosynthesis, while fungus provide shelter to algae. So this is another example of symbiosis relationship. So this is the last mode of nutrition of this chapter. Now our next topic in this chapter is how soil gets replenished, that is nutrition. Plants require nutrition, so how soil will get its nutrition? Soil will get its nutrition either from the manures or fertilizers provided by the farmers. Now this fertilizers and manures contains nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. And these nutrients are added to the soil because these minerals are required by the plants for photosynthesis and for the production of starch through photosynthesis. These nutrients are also provided by some bacteria present in the soil. There are the bacteria called rhizobium present in the soil. This rhizobium fixes the atmospheric nitrogen, that is, it gets this atmospheric nitrogen converted to nitrogenous compounds, and that gets fixed in the soil. So some plants like pulses, that is gram, peas, moong, all these are leguminous plants, that is they need nitrogen. Now what do this nitrogen do? They get this nitrogen converted to nitrogenous compounds and then in return produce proteins. So this bacteria will provide nitrogen to the soil and to the roots, and they get symbiosis relationship with roots, that is they give nitrogen and roots provide nutrition to this bacteria. So this is rhizobium is also an example of symbiosis relationship, and this is how soil gets its nutrients, that are minerals which are required for the plants for photosynthesis. So students, in this chapter we learned about different modes of nutrition of plants. We will refer it from the first again. First is autotrophs, that is green plants. Then comes heterotrophs, that are dependent on autotrophs for their food. Next is parasites, that they require a host body for their nutrients. Next is insectivorous plants. Those gets their food from insects. They digest the insects and get their food. Next comes the saprotrophs. They get their nutrition from dead and decaying animals. And last but not the least is symbiosis, that is symbiotic relationship, where two organisms share their shelter and nutrients with each other. So this is the chapter how plants get nutrition and the modes of nutrition in plants. The students go through the notes and the assignments provided to you and the description of this chapter. Hope you all have understood the chapter very well. Go through the assignment and your notes. Okay, thank you.